protecting Main Street from Wall Street. It's Chris Hoffman with Money Unleashed.
How much money do you put into your checking account from work on a month-to-month basis? It has a high probability that with your investable assets, we can replace that paycheck.
It's time to put you back in control of your money.
You've worked for 35 years. It's time for you to not stress. It's time for you to enjoy and live the retirement you want to live.
It's Money Unleashed with Chris Hoffman.
Welcome into Money Unleashed with Chris Hoffman of the Hoffman Financial Group. We appreciate you checking out the podcast. As always, make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and catch Money Unleashed on 95.5 WSB in Atlanta from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. each and every Sunday. Now, Chris, there's a saying, it goes, communication is key, and it's true of many things in life, and you better believe financial planning is one of those if you're listening out there. Some financial advisors and their clients, though, aren't exactly clicking on retirement planning because there are communication gaps on both sides, and this can clearly be pretty frustrating. Late last year, the Alliance for Lifetime Income released its annual Retirement Income and Planning Study. It highlighted areas of the planning process where communication is falling short. And some of these conversations had entirely different takeaways between advisors and clients. Now, Chris, the biggest divide centered on protected income, Social Security, and long-term care. According to this study, 62% of the financial professionals polled say they cover protected income with their clients, but only 27% of the investors polled agreed that those conversations even happen. So, Chris, that's a pretty wide gap, alarming even.
And I'm surprised that 27% of investors polled agreed that that conversation is happening. Wall Street has done us an injustice, and the government has, by launching 401k plans in the 80s. They basically exonerated corporations from managing pensions. And yes, some of those pensions were underfunded or ran into trouble, and that's what turned off the consumer to allowing their corporations to take a portion of their money and put it into a pension plan. But a properly run pension creates a very smooth and unemotional retirement, folks. So we desperately need it, and I'm disappointed that the government hasn't recognized it. The only attempt the government has made to fix the sins of the 401k past is to allow 401k plans to offer income annuities. I believe that was introduced into legislation and approved 3 or 4 years ago. I have yet to have one person call our company and tell us their 401k has this income annuity option, this income annuity option, or this income annuity option. Where are they, folks? And maybe it's the custodians of these 401k accounts that are not being aggressive and don't research good, solid income annuities for their clients. I hate to be such a skeptic on Wall Street, but I think it also may be losing the ability to manage the money. Because a little secret there for everybody out there who wants to know how advisors' brains work, they want assets under management. Yeah. It's called AUM, assets under management. And I think that's part of the reason Wall Street is not promoting these things. So call me a skeptic. I look at Wall Street out of the corner of my eye, and I don't believe 90-some-odd% of them are worth the pennies that they charge you, or dollars, or hundreds of dollars, or thousands of dollars that they charge you. But that's my biggest concern with Wall Street and the government. We have basically eliminated the ability for retirees to retire and have a guaranteed income stream for the rest of their life. Name it. What's the only guaranteed income stream for the rest of our life when we retire? And we have to wait until 62 to get it, if not 67, if not 70. It's Social Security. And now Social Security is grossly underfunded, and you've pointed out that 79% of it may be all that we get moving forward versus getting 100% of our benefits. So we've paid into Social Security, paid through the nose. The government has managed it, not grown it, and they're talking about reducing it, and they took away pensions from everybody. So folks, if I sound upset, I am. Wall Street has done us an injustice. It's an assault on seniors. RMDs is a clear example of that assault. You should not, at 73 years old, start to get an income tax bill. It's unfair. It should be unconstitutional. It should not happen. Now I know everybody got to put the money in tax deferred, but I can tell you that a large majority of the investing population is scrambling to fund their 401ks, and they do not put any stock in the fact that eventually the government will claw back 20 or 30 or 40% of that money. It becomes a big problem for our financial advisory team in managing this when you hit 73. It becomes a daunting task for retirees to protect their hard-earned net worth. And it becomes worse if you want to leave that pre-tax IRA money to a child. That will cause them a tax problem. That will not be an inherited benefit because your children, when you pass away, most likely will be in their top wage earning years. And I use my father as an example. He has an IRA. My brother and I are the only two siblings, and he's going to leave the IRAs to us. I don't want his IRA. The government wants me to get the IRA because I'm in my highest wage earning years right now. So they want me to pay 53% of every one of his IRA dollars to the government. It's a trap, and they're doing nothing to change it. They haven't fixed Social Security. You know, this is what we're dealing with now as individual investors. Who's fighting for us? Well, I can tell you that Hoffman Financial Group and the Shield at Hoffman Financial Group is fighting for every one of its clients. I can guarantee you that. We're guaranteeing we're going to fight against unnecessary taxation. We're going to move the buckets around appropriately and accurately and effectively to avoid taxation. And we are working on highly reliable income streams for our clients, if not guaranteed income streams, in addition to Social Security. You need somebody in your corner, folks, to make sure that the income check comes in no matter what happens in this crazy world, right? The older we get, the more paranoid we get, the more skeptical we get. What you need is some type of guarantee that you're going to be okay month over month, year over year. Nothing that the government has done in helping us to manage our retirement assets is doing that. So that's why if you call us, we start with a portfolio x-ray to basically break down everything in your portfolio to show you how much income you can generate from it, how much growth targets you should expect from it, how much protection you have in your portfolio, and then we map it out from today's age through age 100. And that hopefully gives you some solace and calms down the emotions around saying to your employer, I'm done. You become empowered to manage the employer. The employer is no longer empowered to trap you into multiple additional years before you retire.
Sounds like the control that you want to be able to take over your financial state of affairs. And you can do that by giving us a call at 404-341-6767, or you can go online to unleashyourmoney.com. Click the Portfolio X-ray box right there. But again, that phone number, 404-341-6767. Now, Chris, I'm glad you brought up the protection component of this because something else from the Alliance for Lifetime Income, nearly all the investors surveyed in this research regarding the communication between advisors and their clients, nearly all of the investors surveyed believe that protecting their retirement assets is important. Seems like a no-brainer to me, right. But only 79% of the financial professionals shared that view. Chris, I got to ask you, what in the world is going on with the other 21%?
I don't know, but I'll tell you that growing your money is the only game Wall Street wants to play. And again, it's a 401k. It's invest in these funds and hopefully they'll outperform the market. That is very true, that the stock market historically does very, very well. It generates double-digit returns, decade over decade over decade. But the problem becomes this. What happened if you retired in 2007, right before the Great Recession?
Right.
You took a loss, and you were biting your nails wondering if you were going to have to go back to work. What happened if you retired in 2020, right before COVID hit, and we had a COVID correction? Or what happens if you're a little bit older and you retired in 2001 when the dot-com bubble burst? It's different when you're not working and you're not replacing losses in your 401k. That's called dollar cost averaging. When the market goes down and you've got available capital to reinvest, that works well, and over time you will do very, very well investing in the stock market historically. The problem is, when you retire, those first 2 years, you need to batten down the hatches, folks. We need to make sure that we know exactly what your maximum drawdown would be if we went through another Great Recession or COVID correction or dot-com bubble bursting. If you know that number, that can give you some calmness in those first several years of retirement, because nothing bothers me more than working on multiple financial plans for a couple, and then they retire, and in the first year or two, they don't do anything with their lives. They sit around and they feel paralyzed because they're worried about the stock market. They're worried about losing their investable assets. And I have to reassure them, look, we've built the plan here. Here are your protected portfolio assets. Here are your at-risk assets. Go and enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Because life is short, and you don't know when your time is coming, and you don't know how healthy. So I divide a retirement into 3 decades. The first 10 years, the second 10 years, and the third 10 years. The first 10 years, that's when we are living our absolute best life, because that's the healthiest we're going to be. Then the second 10 years, we kind of got to assess what are our wants, what are our needs, how are we doing physically. And then the last 10 years, we need to have those buckets of money there to help us with later stage of life expenses. That's a little bit about how I look at the world in financial planning for my retired clients.
Another communication gap between advisors and clients from that Alliance for Lifetime Income study has to do with withdrawal strategies. 95% of professionals say they covered the ideal timing of taking money from certain accounts. Only about 2/3 of clients believe they did so, though. And Chris, that's hardly the kind of clarity that kind of strategy deserves or requires.
Yeah, and you need to concentrate when you're developing your retirement plan on withdrawal strategies. Where do you withdraw from? When do you withdraw from? When do you take your RMDs? What portion of your IRA do you liquidate to generate those RMDs? Or can you invest for enough income to come out of your IRA to satisfy your required minimum distributions? All of that withdrawal strategy is of paramount importance when developing a full retirement plan, because you do not want to just call your advisor and say, I need $20,000 this month. That will throw the plan up in the air. All the marbles will hit the ground. You need to have more of a guaranteed or highly reliable income stream that not only supports your basic living expenses, but allows you to have that $10,000 event a year or the $20,000 event a year. If you do all of that, you should glide through retirement with a smile on your face, relatively stress-free, and the plan should be able to be managed for your ultimate benefit, which is go enjoy retirement, folks.
If you're looking for the fiduciary advisory team to have your back and to have these discussions with, to create a full financial plan that includes strategies for all the things we're talking about here today on Money Unleashed, that's the Hoffman Financial Group. Let's get started today. Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. There's no cost whatsoever. 404-341-6767 is our phone number, or sign up online at unleashyourmoney.com. Chris Hoffman is an investment advisor representative of Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor and affiliate of Brookstone Capital Management, LLC. BWA and Hoffman Financial Group are affiliated under common ownership. Registered investment advisors and investment advisor representatives act as fiduciaries for all of our investment management clients. We have an obligation to act in the best interest of our clients and to make full disclosures of any conflicts of interest. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV 2A, page 4, for additional information. The Hoffman Financial Group and WSB are not affiliated. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. This information should not be considered tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a professional specializing in the field of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Any client experiences discussed during the show are unique to that client. They are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments will fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Any comments regarding safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of of the issuing company and are not offered by Brookstone. Index or fixed annuities are not designed for short-term investments and may be subject to caps, restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV2A Item 4, for additional information. Hoffman Financial Group is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Insurance licensed in Georgia, number 163546.